Hello, Elisa. How are you? Hi, Deshaun. Hey, nephew. How are you doing? Is that Lungandi? How are you? The Nacreous journey. How are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. And I have my glasses on, so you guys be patient with me, okay? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Hey there, is it Haley? Hey, Haley, how are you? From Hungary. Well, hello, Hungary. Welcome. I am well too. Thank you so much for asking, Deshaun. Thank you so much for asking. Hi, Alva. How are you doing? California. Okay. Hi, Kyra. How are you doing? Jana from St. Louis. How are you doing? 2 months narc free? Yes. I haven't talked to you in a long time. I hope all is well, Deshaun. After the conversations we've had, I hope you are empowered. I hope you're feeling strong. I hope you're feeling as handsome as you are. Hello, Nikki. How are you? North Carolina. Okay. Eduardo. Hello, Eduardo. Linnell. Hello. How are you? Zara. How pretty. Hey, Taylor from Texas. Angelica. Hello. And uh, Adriana. Adriana. How are you? Hey, Tabitha from Florida. How are you? Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you. Hey, Just Be Real. How are you doing? Hey, Jenna. How are you doing? I am blessed. Yes, I am, and highly favored. Hey, Ilana. Ashley, Maria, Tanya, Florida in the house. Okay. Hello, Anita. Let's see. Shanta, Jacquelina. How are you? Lisa from Michigan. Okay. Hey there, Wrenches. I know who you are. How are you doing? Third 808. I take it you're from Hawaii, huh? How are you? Hey, Vanessa from Ohio. Skidmore, Texas. I see you, Sal. How are you doing? Vanessa Constance from North Georgia. Okay. From New Mexico. Way there, Tris. Hello, Derek. How are you? Wide Eyes. Angela. Okay, let's see. Shatildra. Hey, Shatildra. Jamaica. Hi, Jamaica from California. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I'll be in California next year in July for my conference, my annual conference. Hey, Sheila, Shauna, first time. Thank you for being here. Okay, you from the boot. Okay. Hey, Crystal, Katie, Deanne, Houston. Okay. Hey, Tasha, how are you doing, Tasha? My girl. Hey, Patrina, Tammy, Karen. Let's see, Nina. Hey, Nina, Agnes. Let's see, who else is here? Is that Lala, Rico? Wait a minute, record form, or Rico? Hey, Just Be Real. Yulin. Hey, Yulin Hazel. How are you? St. Louis. Okay. St. Louis, Missouri. I'll be there sooner or later. I'm telling you. Toronto, Canada. Okay. Maggie. How are you, Maggie? Konisha. Hello, Konisha. Rico. Okay. Hey, Rico. How are you doing? Thank you for being here. Hey, Facebook user, the real deal. Facebook user, what is your name? Because you always come on there, you don't have you're in incognito. What is your name? Hey, KK. Excuse me. Hey, Adele. England. Okay, England. How are you doing? I'm coming to England one day. I promise you that. Every Sunday. Thank you. Hey, Melly. Steph. Hey, Steph. Sharon. How are you? Hey, Dawn. Sheena. Lashonda. How are you? Thank you. Illinois. Okay. Akron, Hawaii. Hawaii. Akron, Ohio. Hello, Dolly. Okay. Let's see. New to my live. Well, thank you for being here, Miss Tammy. Thank you. You say, hey, sunshine. All right now, Dorothea. Hey there, Mr. Harold. How you doing? Who to you too? How you doing, sir? Good to see you. We'll see a picture of you. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Orlando. How are you doing? May not stay long. That's okay. You can just watch the replay tomorrow. But thank you so much for chiming in. Hey, Erica, Mississippi. What part of Mississippi? Hey, Phil. How are you? No, you're not the only dude on here. Hey, Reggie from North Carolina. Lainey. Hey, Pat. Hey, Stud. How are you? All right. Thank you for being here. Swain Fuller, how are you doing? Shiva. Hello, Shiva. Thank you for being here. He said, hey. No, you're not the only dude here. Don't worry. Got Mr. Harold. You got Deshaun. You got Rico. Let's see who else we got. We got a couple of gentlemen here. Thank you so much for joining me. Jackson, Mississippi. Okay, I remember when I went and took my cosmetology licensing test in Jackson, Mississippi. Misty. Well, hello, Misty. We finally have a name with the Facebook user. Dallas, Texas. Well, you missed me last year. He said, Don said, how about them Cowboys? Hey, Miss Hot Topic. Thomasville, Georgia. Okay, Colorado. Lee, hey. Kristen, hey. Atlanta. How come you ain't join me in my conference this year, Kristen? How are you doing? Sarah, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Okay. Veronica from Lawrence, Kansas. Okay. Is that Liza Marie? How are you? New Mexico. You are welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Pasadena, California. Hey, RH. Hopefully you get to join me. I'll be in Los Angeles next year. Mr. Harold said, home girl. Right on, my brother. Hey, Esther. How are you? How are you? Thank you so much for you know what, Harold, you do kind of favor. We could pass as brother and sister. Thank you so much for being here. Phil, who was that who said how about them Cowboys? Rico said, let's go Cowboys. Hello, Chicago. I'll be in Chicago with Apostle Sadler next year. Thank you so much. Is that Elacor? Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for being here. All right. Well, let's get started. Let's see. LaGuardia. Hey there. Lisa May, Edmonton, Canada. Okay. Hey, JP, how are you? Muncie, Indiana. Okay, Muncie. Janetta. Hey, Janetta. Muncie. Okay, Baton Rouge. Okay, Baton Rouge. From the boot. Okay. Lisa from Australia. All right, Australia. I'm going to be in Australia one day. Rochelle. Cash spelled backwards. Okay. Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, Rochelle. I see you. Y'all ready? All right, let me turn on for those of you that have from Pakistan. Hi, son. Well, hello from Pakistan. Thank you so much for joining us. What an honor. Thank you. Is it sir or is it ma'am? Please forgive me. Some, I'm assuming, is sir. So please forgive me if I'm wrong. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. All right. Well, let's turn on Clubhouse. So those of you that also have, hey, Felix from Canada, thank you so much for being here. If you have a Clubhouse, you are welcome to join me in Clubhouse as well. And if those of you that would like to join me in Clubhouse, so what I do is, hey, Tennessee. So what I do is I talk about the topic that's on here. So I talk about the topic that's on here. And then after, ma'am, okay, Samara. Oh, really? Samara. My daughter's name is Samara. Samara. What does Samara mean? I love it. Thank you so much for being here. Such an honor. Thank you so much. But what I'll do is I'm going to talk about the topic. And when I'm finished talking about the topic, I usually open it up for about 5 or 10 minutes for you guys that are on the visual social media, for you guys to ask me questions. And then I go over to Clubhouse to allow people on Clubhouse to ask questions. Well, you're in Dothan. Natasha, you from Dothan, Alabama? I graduated from Carroll High in Ozark. So I know you know what Ozark is. We used to come and hang in Dothan all the time. What? Okay. Small world. Okay, small world. But what I'm going to do, thank you so much. I'm going to wait for a few more people on Clubhouse to come. I know some of you will be watching this. Princess of Heaven. Okay, girl, I see you. Okay, what a beautiful name. Princess of Heaven. Go, girl. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Now, I got a little Southern slang, so hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I like to be myself. Hopefully you feel comfortable while you're on here. Samara. Thank you so much for being here. Pakistan in the house. What an honor. Australia. We got UK in the house. Thank you so much. Hey, Mama Wolf. Thank you so much for being here. She said, lifetime trapped in Dothan. No, you're going to escape. I got away from Ozark. You'll get away from Dothan. Don't worry about it. East Tennessee. Okay. Don't know. Let me see if you talk. No, you're in the DC. You live in DC, Tennessee. No, I was talking about Dothan, Alabama. Thank you so much. Well, hey there, Guru Taz. How are you? Welcome. Okay, so got some people on Clubhouse. Hello, Miss Kiana and Melanin, Loda, Shirley, Suavacita. There we go. Suavacita, Lay, Tesha, Nairi, Lakeisha or Lakeisha. And hold on, let me tap on here. Coaching Spirit. Oh, hey, Coaching Spirits. That's what you look like. Let me look at you. Hey, girl, you go ahead. Go ahead, Queen. Okay, you slaying, girl. I see you. I know you grinning behind the camera. I can't see you, but I know you grinning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started, okay? Hey, Kiko. Stormy, how are you doing? Minnesota, okay? Melly, H-Town, okay? All right, so now let's talk about the topic at hand, okay? So my topic tonight is you can't change what you accept. And you guys know that I did a TikTok last week. Facebook, YouTube, not Instagram, but Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Just Spirit, am I clear on the camera? I hate to lean forward because I have to lean forward into the camera. Hopefully I'm clear on here because it looks a little blurry. And I don't know if I got my camera focused in. Hopefully you guys can see me and it's good, okay? Well, originally I'm from Munich, Germany, by the way of Georgia, by the way of Alabama. So when I first learned to speak English, I learned to speak English in Georgia, out of all places. So I got that southern slang. Hey, Yolanda, my sister Yolanda, we got us another baby. So y'all got me a new grandson. His name is Kamari. But okay, so let's get to the topic. Hey, love, how are you? I like that. Love, I like that. But okay, I did a TikTok I think last week, and it was something. My mentor says a lot. And so when she drops those nuggets, I grab a hold of that nugget and I bring it in. But I give her credit for that. So I'll make sure we don't plagiarize. But one of the things that she said, one of the many things that she said is that what you accept, you cannot change. You guys recently saw the TikTok that I did, and I wanted to expound on that. I was going to do the topic that I missed this weekend. And thank you guys for being so patient. Thank you so much. Hey, Christopher, how are you, sir? I missed the time last week, and please forgive me because I was tired. And thank you guys for being so compassionate and sweethearts. Y'all so sweethearts, you guys. Thank you for being my tribe. Thank you for being my family. I know a lot of you said that I don't have to explain myself, but because of the fact that I have a large following, it is out of obligation because I'm dedicated to you all, and because of the fact that you don't have to follow me, that I like to be accountable. I was accountable in the military. I'm accountable to my leaders, and I love to be accountable to my followers on Facebook because you don't have to be here and you don't have to follow me. And so, that's one of the things that I talk about to you guys. I like to practice what I preach. A lot of you come out of these situations with narcissists. There was no accountability. There was no responsibility. You don't know where they're going, when they're coming back. You get ghosted. And I do not want to be a culprit in making you feel ghosted on a channel, when you guys are following me. Yes, I'm a real person. Of course, I get tired sometimes. And I thank you guys for being so flexible and allowing that. When I come home, sometimes I'm just tired. And you guys know that right now I am working on building a course that deals with gaining your control back in your house and dealing with children. A lot of you are dealing with children that seem to be out of control. So I am simultaneously writing a course and writing a book that goes along with it. So sometimes I'm just exhausted because it does require research, because I want to give you the best information I can. And so I was tired last week. That's why I didn't come. And I appreciate you guys being so understanding. So let's go to the topic. Let's go back to the topic. So and those of you that are watching, watching it after I've recorded, some of you guys are going to come on. This is pre-recorded and this is live now on Sunday, the 23rd of October. And so a lot of you guys stop talking so much. The introduction is too long. Just fast forward it. Just tap, 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 fast forward. That's all. Or tap, tap, tap off my channel. That's all. That's all you got to do. Too easy. So the one of many things that she said is you can't change something that you accept. When you accept something, you are in agreement with what is happening. So if you see, some of you guys say, I don't accept abuse. You accept abuse because of the fact that you stay in the abuse. And so you are agreeing with the person that's doing the abusing. So if someone is mistreating you, if someone is abusing you, if someone is talking to you any kind of way, and even though you say you don't accept it, but you stay, and it continues to happen, and you keep trying to change the person, you have accepted what they're doing. You're accepting what they're doing. So the situation will never change. I put in a little disclaimer in there that says, but you can't change a narcissist. You can't change anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. You can't change anybody. Your responsibility is to change you. When you change your perspective, and when your tolerance gets to a point where you no longer are going to tolerate nonsense, when you no longer decide, I am tired of it, you have to get tired. Nobody has to say anything to you until you get tired. And so a person can tell you can tell me your story all day long. Some people come and tell me their story over and over again. Been working with them for months and months and months, will tell me the same story. And I ask the same question: what have you changed? Most people don't come to get help because they want to change. They want the situation to change. They want the person to change. So they're trying to figure out, what am I going to say to them so that they can change the situation? You'll never change the situation. You're tolerating it. So that person, in this case, the narcissist, already knows that you're accepting the behavior. Why would they change? You're not going to do anything. There are no consequences to the behavior. So let me get into this now. So I want you to think about this for a minute. If you guys got a piece of paper, I want you guys to start keeping a notebook with you. Because when I talk to you tonight, I want you guys to start making small changes. Don't focus on large changes. Focus on small changes. And this is what I'm talking about. I want you to think about systems. Okay, you have the financial system, right? Or the banking system. Banking systems have laws that they fall under the federal government when it comes to finances and money and treasury and stuff like that, right? So there are laws and systems in place to keep, and they have the right programs and systems to keep them in compliance with the laws of this nation or whatever country you're in. They have to have rules and laws, and then they have to put in place policies and rules to keep that bank running. So there are systems, there are writers, program writers, and there are people in there that set up systems to make sure that component, that bank, stays within the system, stays within the rules that are set to keep them in compliance, to keep them functioning properly. And you have people that come that are inspectors that come in to inspect, to make sure that bank is running in compliance with the laws and the rules that are set to keep that system running. Now, think about that, put that to the side. Education system. The education system, you have the federal policies that govern the education system for the United States of America. Then each one of the states have their own system and policies in place as to what is required in the school systems, what is required in the counties, in the districts that the schools are in, to make sure that they stay in compliance with the education system, because they're connected to the colleges. There's certain testings and how to teach them, and what do you teach in kindergarten. So there are certain systems and rules in place. Let's think about, set that aside. Let me think of another system I was thinking about in the car. Military system, the system of the military. Those of you that have served in the military, for example, Mr. Harold, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. He's retired Master Sergeant. I'm a retired senior non-commissioned officer. I don't have to tell you my rank. It's unimportant, but a senior non-commissioned officer and a former first sergeant. But there are systems in place in the military. When you swear and you do the oath of enlistment, or you're being commissioned in the military as a commissioned officer, there's an oath that you take that says, you make a sworn statement. That's a legal document that you sign, that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America and the leadership that you have in place that tell you what to do, basically. The thing about the military is that we're still individual people and we have the right to vote who our president is going to be, who our elected officials are going to be, who the congressmen, the represent. We have the right to vote that. Now, once they're voted in, and they're in position, anytime they're in position, our responsibility is to protect the position, to protect the ranking order. We are sworn in to follow the ranks, the orders, the laws that are in place for the military. Military understands that. It's not the fact that we dislike or whoever the president is. That's no longer it is our concern, don't get me wrong, but we have to follow the orders of the president because he is the commander in chief. And whether we like him or not, we have to respect the position that he holds. We have to respect the office. You don't have to respect the person, but you still have to respect the president and the office of the president. Anytime a senator or a president of the United States comes on our facility, we are the military of the United States of America, and our responsibility is to stand when he walks in the room. Yes, sir. No, sir. There's a certain protocol that you learn. There are systems in place. There's something called the Uniform Code of Military Justice that if you do not comply with the laws and the rules that are in place, the systems are in place, you can go to prison. You can be kicked out. Your whole career can be messed up. So when you hear a civilian tell a military member, and those of you that serve, we make the face all the time, you know what I mean? And someone's like, well, you just need to go talk to your first sergeant. You need to tell your first sergeant, your sergeant major, that that this needs to happen. And all of us are like, men even clutch their pearls, because that is not how we're trained. That is not how we're trained on the system. There's protocol, there's leadership, there's things in place to keep everything running in decency and in order and with respect. Uniform, there's laws, there are regulations, there are field manuals, there are things that are in place to keep good, decent order, and we fight to protect the Constitution and the freedom that you guys have to call people names, to say whatever you want, to post things on social media. That freedom comes by those people that have given their life, and those people that have given some, and those that have given all. All of us who have served have given in order to protect the Constitution that you freely operate in. You see what I mean? The freedom of speech. So having said all that, right, we're going to go to the Mr. Harrell said, correct. Some have gotten fired for not obeying what you're talking about. Exactly. Fired, meaning kicked out of the military, lost their pay. They've got a mark on their record, so it makes it hard for them to get a job anywhere. And some people have been put in prison for not following the Uniform Code of Military Justice that covers all branches of service. When you swear in, and you are under contract. Even if you serve 4 years in the military, you owe them 8 years of your life. Serve 4 years, you have to do the total of 8 years, whether it's reserve or anything like that. And then what most people don't know in the contract is the fact that you can be recalled 20 years after you get out the military. Even those of us that retired for 20 years, you can still be recalled unless you have a medical condition that prevents you from going back in the military. So if you're still healthy, there's 20 years, they can still recall you back to the military. So that military people understand that, and there's no argument. It's the civilians that argue with us about that. Now, having said all that, you have what's called a family system. The family system, whether it's functional or dysfunctional, runs off of rules. Every family has a rule. Some families, when you come in, take your shoes off at the door. Don't walk in my house with your shoes on. Don't wear your street clothes and sit on my bed. Before you go to bed at night, you better make sure that those dishes are washed and put up. Don't leave your clothes laying out here. Pick your stuff up, wash your clothes and fold them. Every family has rules. There are some families that are, you have hierarchy in the family. There is a hierarchy in the family. For those of you that the husband and wives, the husband, and I understand that not everybody believes this. My belief system, if this is yours, just adopt it. If not, oh well. You have a husband and a wife and you have children. The husband is the head of the house. That doesn't mean that he lords over. That doesn't mean he controls everybody. A king understands the kingdom because he has a queen to rule with. And that queen has power a lot. Look at the Egyptians. The queen gave the king the power. It came from her crown. He became king. And so you have a king and a queen in the house, or you have a husband and a wife in the house. She has equal power in that house. He has the final decision, but he also confers with the consort. Why do you think that the king has a queen consort, or the queen had a prince who was a even though he didn't really run, but they still talk to them. They still talk to them in order to make major decisions in that house. Now, when you're talking about a dysfunctional system, for example, a narcissist, you have to think for a minute. When a system goes offline, you have to go back in. You have to understand the rules and the laws that apply, and you have to bring it back on alignment. Bringing it back on alignment, and if you look at the dictionary, discipline meaning punishment to bring it back online. We don't punish children, and we definitely don't punish people except for a narcissist. To bring the system back online, somehow or another, you have to recognize that there's a dysfunction in the system. Because if there's a dysfunction in the system and you accept it and never change it, that means the whole system is dysfunctional. It's almost like growing crooked. Like everything is growing crooked, is growing delusional. And when you're dealing with a narcissist, there are certain rules that are in place with a narcissist that keeps the whole unit dysfunctional. And the reason why I say it keeps the whole unit dysfunctional is because when you have a person that is completely dysfunctional and chaotic on the inside, their mind is dysfunctional, chaotic, and everything that's on the inside, they create on the outside of them. You ever met somebody that's just an angry, bitter person? And no matter what it is that you do, or no matter what it is that you say, they're so critical. You don't even want to be around them because no matter, dang, it's a beautiful day. What's so good about the day? What's so beautiful about the day? I hate winter because I'm always cold. Well, what about summer? I hate summer too because it's too hot. Well, what about fall? Fall is a transit. I mean, dang, do you like yourself? Do you even like yourself? And they see everything and everybody around them by the ugly, critical self that they are on the inside. A narcissist takes the inside chaos and recreates that chaos in the environment, in the family system that they're in. Because even though they'll never be at peace, they're a tormented individual, they're tormented souls. And so they have to bring that torment out into their environment. So it's a chaotic environment. They implement rules, but they're not the ones that have to follow their rules. You do. They create rules and you follow those rules. They don't follow the rules. You follow the rules in order for them to keep that chaos and confusion going. Anytime that there's peace and quiet in that house and you bring it back on track, you bring that household back on track, guarantee you when that narcissist come, it's going to go back off track and it's go back into its ugly. Think about hoarders. Hoarders, what's going on the inside of a hoarder's heart and mind, the anxiety and the stress and the trauma is displayed and manifested in their household. So what you see in their house is what's going on the inside of them. And that's with a narcissist. When you see a dysfunctional home, abused children, unhappy wife, husband, it's what's on the inside of them that you see on the outside, because on the inside they're tormented. Peace and quiet torments them. And so because of the fact, you have to make changes. Now, keep in mind, as a disclaimer, those of you that are married and have children, you can't just jump up and leave. You can't jump up and leave because there are laws that govern in your state. There are laws that govern, parental rights. And if you jump up and leave with your children, that narcissist, being as ugly as they are, can turn around and say that you kidnapped the child. You are in hiding, and they'll put an Amber Alert out there on you, and you may be in hiding away from them because you're afraid and you think that you're going to prove yourself in court. But the problem is that you didn't reach out to get any help. That's why I tell you guys to reach out to a domestic violence advocate or agency so they can help you with the escape, because they have it on paper and they know the paper that they need to take to the judicial system. The judicial system that has laws that govern how things are done. A judicial system has laws and rules that govern how things are done, that's going to protect you if you have the right person in place to help you escape. So when the narcissist goes into court to try to say you kidnapped the children, they have documents and paperwork to support and sustain your escape. So you can't just jump up and leave without a plan. You can't just jump up. You have to get a team with you to leave. But what you're doing is you're breaking you're changing a system. You're changing a cycle, because some of you are in a cycle of abuse. It is a system with laws and rules and punishment. So every time you don't comply with these dysfunctional, unrealistic laws and rules that are in place, you are punished and forced to comply. Punished and forced to comply. So it is that positive and negative reinforcement. The positive reinforcement, it's like giving you treats. It's giving you what you long for. You want affection, you want time, you want money, you want me to love you, you want me to be around you, you want me to spend time with you. And so as long as you do what I want you to do, then I will reward you with what you desire the most, what you're craving for the most. For example, let's say you already know this person go gets a car every 3-4 months and just uses the money, got to show out, got to buy. And when you say no, you're going to be humiliated, you're going to be embarrassed. So that's that negative reinforcement. So that negative reinforcement is the punishment to get you back into compliance. If I embarrass you, if I scream and yell, if I keep you from going to sleep, if I point my finger, if I project, if I make you feel bad about yourself, if I continue to do that, it'll force you back into compliance, because what you'll say is I can't take this anymore. Let me just go ahead and give him or her what they having a temper tantrum over. And so positive reinforcements, then you are rewarded for getting back into compliance. You are rewarded for getting back into compliance. And so you have to make a choice. You have to understand that you cannot change a narcissist. You will not change a narcissist. A person has to want to change for themselves. First thing they got to understand is that their behavior is dysfunctional. They are the common denominator in this whole nonsense. We can take responsibility for the roles that we play, but a narcissist has to come into knowledge or understanding or even an agreement that, you know what, I know that this is what I'm doing. What narcissist do you know that has ever looked at you and say, you know what, you are absolutely right? The only time you really hear them say that is when you're about to leave, when you're changing, when you have changed a system, when you start implementing change and you stop accepting, then they have to go to the love bombing where they start agreeing with you that, you know what, you're absolutely right. I shouldn't be yelling at you like that. You know what, you're right. I do have a temper problem. You know what, you're right. I messed up again. Give me another chance to do it right. I promise you, just work with me. I got issues. I was abused as a child. I got astigmatism in my eye. I got one short leg. I got one eye is bigger than the other. Just work. So they play on your emotions. Anytime a person has to manipulate you and play on your emotions to get you to change your mind, you already know that it's not a permanent change, because they're working on you to change your mind. They're not working on themselves to change. And they'll stay like that for just a little while to get you back into compliance, to lock you back down. And then they go right back to their old habits. And then when you bring up the fact that, but you said, I never say that. Now, you and I know that's exactly what they said. And you remind them, but this is what you told me. You promised me. You told me that you would. You said that you would go to therapy with me. You said that you would change. You said that you would work on this relationship. I didn't say all that, because I'm not the problem. You're the problem. You keep doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And the only reason why I do this is because you. And I don't know what you're talking about. They'll take pieces and parts of the truth and mix it up with a lie. Now, that's not what I said. What I said was, and so the thing about it is that you have to get tired of the situation that you're in. A lot of people make excuses. Let me tell you something. I work with this young lady, and I don't know whether she's on here or not. I'm not sure if she, on here or not. She was on Social Security, and nobody knows who she is, so you don't know who I'm talking about. But she was on Social Security, had a disability, severe disability in her body, her and her son. And she was on disability. Now, you guys know when you get a Social Security check, that Social Security check don't pay for a lot. Here in the state of Washington, it is expensive up here in the state of Washington. And a lot of our elders that are getting Social Security check, it doesn't even pay the rent. I can tell you that now. It doesn't pay the rent. And so unless their family members help them, they don't even have anywhere to stay. And then if they do get like low income housing or something, it still takes up a lot of their money. And then they're not even in a safe environment, so Social Security checks, they don't really pay for a lot, and some of them have to make a decision whether they get their medicine or whether they eat. And some of them that our church used to assist were eating dog food and cat food in order to survive, and so that Social Security check is not going to do a lot. This young lady, though, had a brilliant mind. This girl was super bad. She knew she was on Social Security, but she says, I'm not going to stay on Social Security because it doesn't do a lot. She was able to buy a house. She bought a house, and her and her son could both receive Social Security. So she bought a home, and she began to plan how to turn that into a business because she was not getting ready to live off of Social Security. She was just not getting ready to do it. And she had a legitimate disability. She did. So a regular job is not something she can work. She had a brilliant mind. This narcissist tried to kill her, And but she had a brilliant mind. And this young lady turned her house, got the right connections, got the right people, got the right business loans, and turned her house into an Airbnb and getting ready to buy a second home. Young lady is headed, she don't need Social Security no more. Young lady is headed to not just entrepreneurship, like Dr. Cindy Trim said, serial business owner, and beautiful, impeccable taste. She showed me the inside of her house and she was remodeling it. Impeccable taste, just beautiful taste, beautiful taste. So don't tell me what a person on Social Security can and cannot do. You still got a mind to think. You still have gifts. You have still talents. You have hobbies. A lot of your hobbies can be turned. You can monetize your hobbies. And so a lot of people will justify and use the excuse, what am I going to do without him? What am I going to do without her? I can't afford to live. I left and I had to come up with another. One thing that I told my soldiers when I was in the military, I said, it doesn't matter what you do in life, whether you think you're going to retire from the military, whatever you do, anything can happen. Get yourself an education. Find you something that you would love to do. Get yourself an education so you have something to fall back on. Make sure that you have gifts and talents. I, by trade, am a cosmetologist. If I need to make money, I can make money off of doing hair. And then on top of that, I have other different businesses that I'm working right now, putting in place for a lot of you and you'll love my products. But there's some things that I'm putting in place that you will enjoy, that you will love. But one thing that I promised myself when I got out of that situation, I said, I would never be in a situation where because I was homeless at one time. I lived in a homeless shelter at one point in time. I was homeless and pregnant at one time. So yes, I was in a homeless shelter, and those of you that may be in that, I'm sorry, I'm just itching. This thing is sticking to my neck, hair itchy, but forgive me. But I used to live in a homeless shelter. I was in, those of you that are from Alabama, in Birmingham, Alabama, there was a homeless shelter called Bread and Roses. And it was right down the road from Alabama University in Birmingham, AUB. And that was the college that I wanted to attend. Never got a chance to attend that college. However, I thought that I had ruined my life. I was in a homeless shelter, pregnant, young, lost. And I remember walking and looking up and thinking to myself, I had to change the situation that I was in, because I ended up in a homeless shelter because of the fact that I was dealing with narcissists, with a narcissist. And I had to change my mind. And in my mind, I said, I got to do something different. I have to do something different. I said, I can't believe I messed up an opportunity. My father was going to pay for my school. But I realized now that if my father would have paid for school, I probably would have messed that up too. And so I paid for my education while I was in the military. What I told my soldiers to do is what I did. I built myself up. I made sure that I had gifts. I tapped into my different gifts and talents. There's nothing I can and cannot do. I would tell y'all some of the stuff that I built, but I'm good with my house in the military. Military teach you a lot of stuff with your hands. So don't sit there and say what you can and cannot do, because now the question becomes is where are you getting that from? Who told you that? What you're doing is repeating what the narcissist has he put you or she put you in this system. And then these are the rules and the laws that this person has put in place to keep you within this dysfunctional system. And the words that he or she used was to keep you from coming out of compliance with that system. And coming out of compliance with that system means that you have discovered yourself. You found out that you're not ugly. You found out that you're not stupid. You found out that you are talented and gifted. You found out that you are smart. You found out there's a brand new world. I think that's the song. But you to discover some stuff. That's one thing they don't want you to do. They don't want you to discover, because they have words, they have systems, they have rules, they have laws that keep you in compliance. And those rules and laws are the very thing that you are repeating. You got to be careful what comes out of your mouth, because you're repeating what the narcissist said to you. You'll never make it without me. You'll never do this. You can't do this. I was told that too. Like, your money ain't really nothing. Your money ain't paying no bills. And I had to look. After I got out in the fog lift, I had to look. I'm like, wait a minute. Both of us in the military, I'm making almost as much money as you making. And he was, I think, one rank higher than me. And I were the same rank at one point in time until we got a divorce, and then he got promoted. But we were making almost the same amount of money. So I'm thinking to myself, how he telling me I ain't making no money? Then later on when I got out, I was still hustling. I'm a hustler. That's what I am. I'm a hustler. If I got to do hair, nails, I keep my nails done, baby. And I do that myself. Keep my nails done because I'm busy. I make my own wigs. I didn't make this one. I make my own wigs. I can sell wigs, $500 to $700. Honey, I can do nails. Nails were done during the pandemic. There's nothing that I cannot do to make sure that I survive. And I was told you ain't gonna make it without me. And I was like, wait a minute. And I had to sit back and think, I'm like, wait a minute, I got 4 degrees. Four. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 degrees. And we're going to put these degrees to work. We're going to make this work. I started my own business. So don't sit there and repeat what you keep hearing to keep you locked into this system. You can't change anything until you change your thoughts. Stop complying with the rules that this narcissist has put in place, meaning that you have to get out of this dysfunctional system because you don't belong there. That's like taking Dawn. You see a commercial where they took Dawn and dropped it in grease and the grease dispersed. That is you. You are the Dawn. And it's hard for the grease to stick there. It's just there. And that's you. You are the drop of Dawn in this greasy water. And that narcissist knows it. But what they're going to do is they're going to tell you all the things they feel about themselves. And then you comply. You stay there. Nothing ever is going to change. You cannot change a narcissist, but there's nothing that's ever going to change for you. Nothing, because you're agreeing to the abuse. And you're saying, I resent that statement, and that is not true. I disagree with that because I do not agree with them abusing me. You know what, Hunsty? Yes, you do, because you're still there. Like I said, there are certain situations in which I understand you can't jump up and just leave because you got kids. So you need legal, you need a domestic violence advocate to assist you in your escape. You can't just. So there are certain things that need to be in place. You need a support system. You need a therapist. You need a good coach. If you know Karen Smith, Cluster B Free Karen, she's one of those. She's very aggressive. When it comes to getting you out of a situation, she is your Harriet Tubman of narcissist abuse recovery. She is your Harriet Tubman. You got Telsha with the T. It's going to make you feel good about yourself. She's going to talk about them backward walking giraffes and them turtles and ducks with turtle duck feathers. She's going to talk about it. She's going to talk about it. You got Apostle Helen Sadler, your destiny helper, who's going to bring you the spiritual aspect and help you to understand your power, your strength. You got my sister, Kathy Gibson. My Life is Intentional. Is going to help you to understand your worth, the power that you have, the beauty that you have. Just get that. There's a book called The Essence of the Aristocratic Woman. Men get it too, because you guys are aristocratic men. And you can apply those same in that book, those affirmations. When you say those affirmations, I'm telling you, I started reading that book and I just had a whole different perspective about myself. Child, I had a whole different perspective about myself. I said the other day, when I was on Clubhouse with her on Friday, she comes on Fridays at about 8, I think 7 o'clock. And I had a whole different perspective. This is the first time, because I've always had a man. Y'all, come on. I mean, I'm not bragging about myself. I'm not a raw piece of meat. So it's not like I can't get a man. This is the first time in my life that I choose not to be in a relationship, because I've always had a man. That ain't a problem. I ain't never had a problem with that. And I had the wrong reasons as to why I had one. But the point is, this is the first time that I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying life after abuse. 22 years, almost 40 plus 50 some odd years. I ain't gonna say 50 some odd years because I'm in my 50s now. The abuse did not let 40 some odd years. So I'm in my 50s, but 40 some odd years of abuse, rejection, neglect, and then I'm beating myself up. I became you become your worst critic, your worst enemy. You become your own saboteur. You become the person that got the keys to get you out of the cage. You can prevent forest fires. But what I'm saying is that you got the key to get yourself out of the cage. And when I discovered myself being around these type of women, listening to these type of women, and I began to discover myself, I began to realize how much I enjoy me. I enjoy my sisters. I enjoy my mother. I enjoy my freedom. This is the first time I have enjoyed life. For the first time, I have enjoyed life. I really like myself. For the first time, I can look in the mirror and say, I like myself. And at one point in time, I had a problem. I couldn't name anything I like about myself. What are some of the assets that I like about myself? Not what men liked about me. What is it that I liked about myself? When I looked in the mirror, what did I like about myself? When I stood in front of the mirror, what did I like about myself? I finally like what I see. So don't tell me. I refuse to let That narcissist used my mouth to destroy me. I refuse to let my enemy use my mouth to destroy me. I'm going to say, and those of you that are believers, I'm going to say what God said I am. I'm going to say those positive affirmations. I'm the essence of the aristocratic woman. I'm going to say those affirmations because every time I say them affirmations, I realize, wait a minute, I'm a proverb. Now, this is just me, y'all. I'm a Proverbs 31 woman. That means I work. I build a household. I take care of a household. I'm in the industry. I'm a serial business owner. I'm constantly creating. I'm constantly creating my own finances, my own money. I left a job and started my own business. I bought a home afterward. I off of my business, off of my retirement, my military retirement, and my business. And I don't suffer. I'm just fine. And I'm planning on moving. I travel every year. I travel to another location and I meet beautiful people like yourselves. I get to hug you guys. I get to shake your hand. I get to talk to you guys. I get to find out who's behind the names on the. I get to sign your books. You know, I get to sit down and eat and laugh and joke to see you guys smile. I mean, what more can a person ask for that has been through something like this? And I know, you know, I got more. I got to come to the UK, child. I got to go to Australia. I just got to stay away from them big old bugs and them animals because I'm not a bug person down under. But I'm coming to Australia. I want to go to Italy. I want to go visit Rome. I want to come to UK. I want to come to England. That is what I would like. I want to come to England. I would like to visit Scotland. You know, there are places that I want to go. You know, and I have dreams. You guys cannot stop when you accept anything. You'll never be able to dream big. There's always a cap over your head as far as you can go because you're going by what that narcissist has said to you. You're stopping yourself, and that's as far as you're going to ever go. Is as far as those words are going to let you go. So that's all I got for tonight. And that's all I got to say about that. And so just be real. Give me about 5 minutes to answer some questions here on social media, on the visual apps. And then I'll switch over to Clubhouse for, hey, Danielle, hey, sis. Excuse me. But give me about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to switch over, to Clubhouse to talk to my family over here for a few minutes. And then that's it for the evening. And I'm going to call it a night. So you guys got any questions for me? Oh, yeah, I got to come to Paris, honey. Oh, yes, I got to come to Paris. I want to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I want to eat some food in Paris, dine with the French. Oh, absolutely. I'm coming to Paris. I might just be on vacation. Paris, I want to go to Rome because I want to look at the ruins. I want to see it. And I will. I'm going to go to Rome because I want to see the ruins. I want to come to Paris. I want to see what Australia looks like. I want to come to the UK. I want to come to England because I would like to see what England looks like. I love the beautiful countryside in England. It's beautiful. I would like to see what Scotland looks like. You know, I would like to see what Ireland looks like. So there are places that I want to come. I want to visit. When searching for a therapist for myself and my children, what do I search for exactly? Look for a person that specializes in trauma, a trauma professional. You can ask them questions like, do you understand trauma? Do you understand the trauma of domestic violence? Do you understand narcissist abuse? Do you understand anything about narcissist abuse? Do you understand PTSD? You know, do you understand parental alienation? You know, talk definition. Talk definition with the therapist. Sometimes the therapist knows what they're talking about. They just don't know how to, you know, they probably don't know like, oh, that's narcissist abuse. But a lot of times they know what they're talking about. So ask that question. Let's see. Can PTSD have something to do with narcissistic? You mean narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder? Yeah, a lot of narcissists have co-occurring disorders. Like a lot of them do have PTSD. A lot of them have anxiety, depression, PTSD. Some have ADHD. Some have bipolar disorder. Some have schizophrenia. Some of them have autism. So there, you know, narcissistic personality disorder is only one personality disorder. They can have a whole lot of co-occurring disorders. Jeanette said, I love the work that you do. You have truly helped me heal and inspired me to continue to do better. Absolutely, Jeanette. Janetta, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And your compliments keeps me going. Thank you so much. Can men have the same experience? Absolutely. Yes, sir. It's not limited. Mr. Johnny, although I am, of course, I'm a woman. I'm a natural woman, y'all. I had 3 kids, gave birth to them. I'm a woman. Never been anything else. So I can only speak to you from the experience from the female perspective. Now, the male perspective comes from what men have taught me. Men have taught me, men have talked to me, and a lot of you yourself. We have Mr. Harold that's on here. That was at my conference with 2 other gentlemen, and thank you. And they talked about their experiences. So a lot of the experiences that we hear from men is the stories that men tell. I have another gentleman. I don't know if he's here tonight. Um, he's not on here tonight, but have told us their experiences. Stevie Bananas, he used to be one of my moderators. He talked about the abuse that he went through with his mother and the abuse that women went through. When we talk about the narcissist abuse and some of those things experienced, exact same experience for the men, because mothers, grandmothers, wives, girlfriends, and women can be very vicious and very petty because they will use their femininity, they'll use their femininity to play victim, and they're the abusers. They get in a courtroom, they accuse you of a bunch of things, and 9 times out of 10, society will believe a woman over a man. A man says that they're being abused by a woman. Most people in society kind of like roll their eyes, like, yeah, right, big strong man, yeah, right. you know uh how do you leave with no job, no money, no car, no house for my 4 kids? Where do I start? I don't want to be homeless with my kids. I want you to go look up, I don't think she's on here, I want you to go look up Karen Smith. She is cluster B free Karen, and she is a pit bull. What you may want to do is, Esther, you're going to have to find yourself a domestic violence advocate, or find you a go. Somebody post the 1-800 number for the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and they will connect you to domestic violence um, uh, domestic violent agencies in your state that will assist you. Sometimes we had to be in a homeless shelter. I had to go to a homeless shelter to start all over again. Not this time, but when I was younger, I did. And so, for some people, you'd be surprised. You get to the homeless shelter, you become first on the housing list. They'll help you with like job searches. They'll help you with like building yourself up, sending you back to school, getting yourself back on your feet. You don't have to be ashamed of that help. But you can start all over. And a lot of times, Harold said, he said, and baby mamas. But yeah, you go find you a good domestic violence advocate. You can call the 1-800 number. If you guys will post the 1-800, the National Domestic Violence Hotline number, so that she can be connected to domestic violence agencies within her state. 411 said, keep on searching. There's help out there. Absolutely. What was one non-traditional thing you did to help you heal? A non-traditional thing? Well, I'm a church girl. So a lot of non-traditional things that I did was, I had to really, for me, I locked into my faith. I reestablished my relationship with God, and I locked into my faith. And the thing that I did, it's almost like the uncommon thing that you would do. I went past my emotions, because 22 years, the only love that I've ever known was a dysfunctional love. I did not know healthy love. Okay. I did not know what healthy love was. And so in my mind, that was love. And so to have to walk away from 22 years of a situationship, I had to make up in my mind, I'm the type of person that I'm not going to say something I'm going to do and not do it. Once I say what I'm going to do, that is what I'm going to do. So I'm very careful to tell people what I am going to do, because once it leaves my mouth and I say that I'm going to do it, I'm very committed to what I say. I'm very committed at what I'm going to do. And so when I said that I was going to leave at 18 years, I didn't say, if you do this the next time, because he had a problem with infidelity anyway. And I said, not if you do this again. What I said is when you do this again. When you do this again, I'm not going to ask you any questions. I'm going to go. And it was only a few days later where I knew. I was laying in the bed and I knew what had happened. And that next morning he called and it was very unnatural. And I already knew what had happened. He knew I knew what had happened. I knew he was with someone. I knew he had been sleeping with someone. And so what he tried to do is he tried to make it seem like he was the one making the decision to leave. It wasn't that he was making the decision to leave. He knew I was going to catch him again. And I was not going to say anything. This time I was just going to leave without saying anything. So for me, a very non-traditional thing is I had to put my emotions aside. I put my feelings aside and I made a vow to God. I said, God, I said, I know this is going to hurt. It's going to hurt like hell. I know I'm going to suffer, but I promise you this one thing. I said, if you promise me that you will use this to help other people, I promise you I would never go back. Because I had never left my ex-husband at that time. I had never left him. I didn't even threatened to leave him. I think I drove off one time and came twice and came back, but I had never threatened to leave. But this time, I said, God, I said, if you use this to help other people in their pain, I promise you I'll never go back. And I promise you I will feel every pain. And I suffered for a while. I suffered for a while because I was detoxing. And so that was very untraditional. And untraditional was I had to lean on my faith. I reestablished I grew closer to the God that I serve. And that's what carried me through and kept me from losing my mind, because it was the most horrible thing I ever had to do. And on top of that, I had to use my military training because I was a leader in the church. I had to use my military training not to show my emotions and still stand before people, work in ministry, support my leader, travel with my leader without falling apart, without losing it, and still be on my post, still be where I needed to be, still be there with my kid, still get up and do what I had to do, even though I didn't want to wake up. Not that I wanted to die. I didn't want to wake up. I wanted to keep sleeping. But my daughter gave me a reason to keep going. God gave me a reason to keep going. And then think about it. All that time I invested, look what I'm doing now. He kept his promise. Very non-traditional, but he kept his promise. And I'm doing exactly what it is that I asked him to allow me to do. Hopefully that helped. So y'all, Just Be Real said my time is up. So I'm going to switch over to Clubhouse for a few minutes to answer some questions. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. And I appreciate your support. I appreciate your love. Hey, just give me a little time. I'm trying to get this class out at least by the 15th of November. I got a book that's coming along with that class. And I'm dealing with parenting children. You're welcome, Reggie. But it is regaining is modifying manipulative and dysfunctional behavior in children, but it's also helping you to gain control of your house again. Because some of you guys have lost your control of your house to your kids. You're welcome, Felix. Thank you so much. Thank you. But some of you guys have lost your house, and a lot of that that I'm going to be doing a course on is, and the book is more in detail. But it is regaining your house, getting your sanity back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, twin. Mr. Harold's my twin. Thank you so much, twin. Thank you so much, Mr. Johnny. I appreciate you. But so I'm working on the course. Is requiring a little research. It's fun to do now. Don't get me wrong, because I'm writing the book that goes along with it. So I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot of information. There's good information. And it says things that you don't listen. It says things that folks want to say but can't say to parents that got kids that are out of control. Y'all know little noop noop. Little baby. Little doodlebug, those that you want to say something to, but you don't want to say nothing because the parent get offended. Well, the book don't say it, and it's going to take you through the process of changing the way that you think when it comes to your children as well, so that you can put them on, you don't want to change your trajectory. Well, you do want to change your trajectory because you're raising children to be in a hostile environment, in a hostile world. And either one, you're going to cause your children to be hated, or number two, you're going to make them comply and conform to not society, but so that they have manners, they have order, they have decency. People want to be around them, not hate to be around them, and then purpose do things to hurt your children. So I appreciate you guys. So just give me a little time to get this together. I'm working on it. That's what I've been really working on. I had to get my stuff together at my business. So now that I got that together, my whole focus is creating this course and writing the book that goes with it. So I am so grateful. Thank you guys so much for being here. So if you guys like to join me over in Clubhouse for a few minutes, I'm not going to be on long because I'm tired. But if you guys want to join me over here in Clubhouse for a few minutes, I'm going to take a few questions and then I'm going to call it an evening. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for supporting me. I want you to guys know that I'm working on getting the tickets on to get the tickets up and starting to get the tickets up for sale for next year's conference. My conference is always in July. Every year is in July, the last Saturday of July. And Apostle Helen Sadler, your Destiny Helper, her conference will be in August. She will be in Chicago, Illinois in August, August, and I will be in Los Angeles. Apostle will be there. Telsha with the T, Telsha Leland, Marcus Monroe. You guys know Marcus Monroe. Bridget Griffin, my friend Bridget Griffin, who is a advocate, a domestic violence advocate. I have a new person that's going to be with us. She's a medical doctor from Atlanta, Georgia, and she's a trauma doctor. And she's going to be joining the team of professionals on this panel who are going to be bringing you. And next year's conference is my trauma conference. I don't have a name for it yet, but it's the trauma conference. And so it will be in Los Angeles, California next year. I'm looking for a place right now. I'm looking for a hotel to host the event. And so it is the last Saturday of July. I don't know what day that is. Hold on. And it's the same every year. Every year is the last Saturday in July. So next year's conference is going to be the 29th of July. So I'm hoping you guys will join me in Los Angeles, California, and then join Apostle Helen Sadler, your Destiny Helper, in Chicago, Illinois in August. And you will see the team in Los Angeles, and then you'll see the team in Chicago for her conference. And so I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you guys so much. And please join me over here at Clubhouse. I'm going to be here just a few minutes because I am sleepy, so I don't want to keep yawning. But yes, California, here I come. So you guys in California, please come out and support me. If you got domestic violence advocates that are in that area, if you have YWCA, domestic violence advocates, social workers that you want to come, let me know so I can give them a discounted rate for bringing a group there to that conference because they would like to be there. This is going to be my trauma conference. It's going to be kind of deep. So I am ready for you guys to be there. So give me a moment. I'm going to post those tickets out while I'm looking for the location. So I'll do a pre-ticket sale. So those of you that would like to do VIP can get a heads up on the VIP tickets. There's no discount for the VIP tickets because of the amount of money it takes to do what I do with the VIPs. The limousines and I don't know, this year I might change. I mean, next year I might change it up what we do as VIPs. But yes, please, I'm going to put the sale out there for the tickets for VIP for those of you that would like to be VIP and general admissions, so give me a minute. I'm going to set that up. So thank you guys so much. Come on over here to Clubhouse. Hey, and remember, I have a book called Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. Those of you that are in certain situation and you're living in shame and wondering if anybody thinks like you, or you're rationalizing as to why you did what you did, this book is for you. You will find yourself in this book, whatever socioeconomic status you're in, but you can find it on Barnes & Noble, Amazon. Those of you that are out of the country, I know they have some problems getting it shipped there by these two companies. Go to Westbow Press, which is my publisher, and they will send it to you. Buy it in bulk. And when you guys buy it in bulk, go give it out to the women's shelter. Give it out to the domestic violence shelters and domestic violence advocate. Give it to the women, because this book, and I mean, men, you read it and see if you can use it, is very good. But give it out. Give it as gifts. Some of these women need to read this to see. Okay. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. And come on over to Clubhouse. You guys have a great evening, okay? The name is Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. Unmasking the Illusion of Perfection. And so I appreciate, just I'll put the link up there so you can click on Amazon and it'll come up, okay? So thank you I can't explain, but Okay. So thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful evening. Okay. So good night, everybody, and come on over here to Clubhouse for a moment, and then I'll be off. Good night, everybody.